The stars glimmered cold and distant, like tiny pinpricks of hope scattered across the endless black canvas of the galaxy. On a quiet, barren planet at the edge of the Varelian sector, Lyra stood on the cliffs of her small settlement, her long cloak fluttering in the wind. She gazed at the horizon, where the twin moons kissed the mountains, and her heart ached with a longing she could no longer ignore. For years, she had lived in safety, hidden from the galaxy's prying eyes. She had raised the dragon herself, once a tiny, fragile hatchling, on a remote moon far beyond the star maps of ordinary spacefarers. She had nurtured it, fed it, and trained it to understand humans. But time had passed, and rumors now spread through the sector. The dragon had grown, not only in size but in power, and the galaxy had noticed. "Lyra!" called a voice from behind. It was Kale, her closest friend and companion on many missions. His face was tense, worry etched in every line. "I've heard the whispers too. You know what people are saying. You shouldn't go." Lyra did not turn. "I have to, Kale. I can't ignore it anymore. It's my responsibility, my bond with her. And if the stories are true, the galaxy doesn't understand what they're dealing with. I must see her before it's too late." Kale's eyes flickered with fear. "They'll try to stop you. Not everyone wants the dragon alive. They want it dead, Lyra. Or worse, controlled." Lyra's fingers tightened around the strap of her pack. "I've faced worse, and I'm not alone." With that, she stepped toward the ship waiting at the edge of the cliffs. A sleek, black vessel built for speed and stealth. The engines hummed softly, almost like a heartbeat, echoing her own racing pulse. She had spent weeks planning this journey, charting a course through unclaimed space, avoiding patrols, and plotting a path no one could track. Every decision was calculated, yet the danger felt immense. As she lifted off the ground, the wind whipping past, memories of her past flooded her mind. She had found the dragon when it was no larger than her arm, abandoned in a crater on a desolate moon. Its eyes had been fiery pools of defiance and curiosity. Lyra had promised even then to protect it at all costs. She had raised it in secret, teaching it not only to fly but to trust humans. And over the years, their bond had grown unbreakable. But that was years ago. Now she didn't know what to expect. The dragon was powerful, perhaps uncontrollable. And the galaxy had changed. Forces she could not yet name had begun to stir, threatening the fragile peace of the sectors. The first jump through hyperspace was smooth, yet tension coiled in her chest like a living thing. Stars blurred into lines and time seemed to stretch. Even in the quiet of the ship's cabin, Lyra could feel the weight of the galaxy's eyes, the stories of power and fear that had reached her ears. Every word, every rumor, pushed her onward. Hours passed. She navigated through asteroid fields, drifting comets, and the occasional rogue patrol ship. Her mind raced with possibilities. What if the dragon had changed? What if it remembered her but was too wild to recognize the bond they once shared? She could feel the answers hiding just beyond the veil of space. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped urgently. Lyra froze, her hand moving instinctively to the control panel. "Show me." A flickering screen displayed a shadow moving across the surface of a nearby planet. Large, immense, unmistakable. The dragon. Its scales glinted faintly under the planet's dim sun, a living flame against the dark terrain. It was larger than she remembered, its wings stretching wide like sails catching invisible winds. Its eyes, sharp and intelligent, scanned the horizon, and Lyra felt a pang of longing and fear. Kale, standing behind her, whispered, "It's real, and it's huge. More than we imagined." Lyra nodded, swallowing hard. "I have to reach her before anyone else does. The galaxy doesn't understand. They see a weapon. But she's not a weapon. She's family." The landing was dangerous. The terrain was jagged, filled with rocky spires and deep chasms. One wrong move and the ship could be destroyed or worse, exposed to the forces hunting them. Lyra guided the vessel with careful precision, her eyes never leaving the shadowed figure below. Finally, the ship touched down in a small clearing. The engines powered down, leaving only the natural sounds of the planet. The hiss of wind, the distant crack of shifting rocks, and the low, deep rumble that made her heart skip a beat. Lyra stepped out, her boots crunching on the rough ground. Every nerve screamed caution. She remembered the stories she had heard of hunters who sought dragons, the mercenaries who would stop at nothing to claim such power. She had to be swift, careful, and unseen. And then she saw movement. The dragon turned, sensing her presence even before she spoke. Its head lifted, nostrils flaring, eyes glowing with recognition, or was it challenge? Lyra froze, unsure whether to call out or stay hidden. The wind carried her soft voice across the clearing. "It's me, Lyra." The dragon tilted its head, a low growl vibrating through the air. Memories seemed to flash between them, years of trust and companionship. But there was also caution, a warning that this reunion was not simple. The galaxy had changed, and so had the dragon. Kale's hand touched her shoulder. "Be ready," he whispered. "Whatever happens next, we have no backup." Lyra nodded, stepping forward slowly. Every step felt like walking on the edge of a blade. She could feel the dragon's power resonating through the ground beneath her feet, a reminder of why the galaxy feared what she loved. But fear would not stop her. Hope, courage, and the bond she shared with the dragon propelled her forward. Suddenly, a distant shadow flickered across the mountains. Another ship, moving fast, silent, and deliberate. Lyra's heart pounded. They were not alone. Someone else knew where the dragon was. Someone else wanted her. Lyra whispered a silent vow. She would protect the dragon, no matter the cost. She had come this far, defying warnings, defying danger, and defying the galaxy itself. Nothing would stop her from seeing the dragon she once raised, not even the unknown threats that now closed in. The wind howled, the dragon's eyes locked on hers, and in that moment, Lyra knew that her journey, the forbidden journey, was only just beginning. Lyra's boots sank slightly into the loose dirt of the clearing as she stared at the dragon. Its enormous wings flexed, casting long shadows in the dim light of the twin suns. Every instinct screamed caution, yet every memory tugged at her heart. She had raised this dragon as a child, and now, after years of separation, she felt both fear and hope ripple through her. Kale whispered behind her, "It hasn't moved." "That's good, right?" Lyra shook her head slightly, keeping her voice low. "Not yet. Studying me, trying to decide if I'm friend or threat." The dragon's scales shimmered in colors she had never fully noticed before. Deep emeralds, dark violets, and flecks of silver that caught the sunlight. It had grown massive, far larger than the little hatchling she had once cradled in her arms. Yet, beneath that power, she saw something familiar. Intelligence, recognition, a spark of the creature she had raised with love and patience. As the wind blew, memories of the past flooded Lyra's mind. She remembered the first day she found the dragon. Its tiny body had been trembling in a crater on a frozen moon. She had approached carefully, speaking in a soft voice, her hand trembling as she reached out. The dragon had flinched at first, but then, somehow, it had sensed her intention. Over days, weeks, and months, they had built a bond stronger than most humans ever knew. Lyra knelt slightly, speaking softly. "Do you remember me?" The dragon's eyes narrowed, not in anger, but in scrutiny. Then, slowly, it lowered its massive head, nostrils flaring. A soft hiss escaped its throat, almost like a whisper. Recognition. Lyra's chest tightened with relief, but she knew better than to let her guard down. The galaxy had changed, and so had the dragon. During the years apart, she had heard rumors of dragons. How some had become uncontrollable, turning on entire fleets, destroying settlements without mercy. She had raised this dragon with love, but love alone might not protect them now. Kale moved slightly, scanning the horizon. "Lyra, we're not alone. I see movement near the cliffs to the east. Could be scouts." Lyra froze, eyes flicking toward the rocky peaks. "Then we must be quick. If they see her before we can leave, they'll try to take her or kill her." The dragon shifted, the sound of its wings brushing the air like a thunderclap. It was ready to defend itself and perhaps her too. Lyra's heart pounded. She had never seen it like this, full of raw, unbridled power. She reached into her pack and pulled out a small device, a communicator and scanner she had built to track the signals of approaching ships. The display flickered, showing multiple blips converging on their location. Their pursuers were coming faster than she had expected. Lyra took a deep breath. "We need to move. Now." The dragon, as if understanding her words, lowered its wings and shifted toward a narrow canyon that led deeper into the mountains. Lyra followed, Kale at her side, hearts racing with every step. The shadows around them seemed to stretch and twist, hiding dangers in the rocky terrain. Every crunch of gravel beneath their feet felt like a drumbeat in a silent, waiting world. As they navigated the canyon, Lyra's mind wandered again to the past. She remembered the nights she had spent teaching the dragon to fly, hovering above moonlit craters, the exhilaration and terror of watching it learn. She remembered the first time it had carried her on its back, soaring higher than the clouds of their home planet. Those memories were precious, but now they felt like whispers from another life, one untouched by the galaxy's growing fear of dragons. Suddenly, the canyon widened, and a deep roar echoed through the rocks. Lyra froze. The dragon had sensed something she could not yet see. Kale's hand went to his weapon, but Lyra held up a hand. "Wait!" From the shadows, figures emerged, hunters, clad in dark armor, their weapons glinting. They had been tracking the dragon, moving silently through the mountains. Lyra's pulse quickened. The galaxy's warnings were real. These were not ordinary mercenaries. They were organized, dangerous, and relentless. The dragon stepped protectively in front of her. Its scales shimmered, and its wings lifted slightly, a silent warning. Lyra could feel the power radiating off it, a force that could level armies if unleashed. Yet she knew she could not rely on force alone. She had to reach it, connect with it, and guide it, just as she had done as a child. "Lyra!" Kale hissed. "They're closing in." Lyra held his gaze for a brief second, determination flashing in her eyes. "We won't run. We'll make them think twice before touching her, or us." The dragon let out a low, rumbling growl, vibrating through the canyon like the distant thunder of a storm. Its eyes locked on the approaching hunters, and Lyra felt a spark of hope. They remembered her, at least in part, and maybe, just maybe, that bond could turn the tide. Lyra glanced back at the dragon, speaking softly. "Remember me. Remember what we built together. You can do this." The creature shifted, almost imperceptibly, acknowledging her words. It was a silent promise. Together, they would face whatever the galaxy had in store. As the hunters drew nearer, Lyra's mind raced. She thought of every trick she had learned, every plan she had prepared for this moment. She knew escape would not be simple. The canyon offered both cover and danger, and the dragon, her dragon, was the key. The galaxy may have feared it, but to her, it was home, protection, and power all wrapped in scales and fire. The first shots rang out, echoing against the canyon walls. Sparks flew, and rocks tumbled. Lyra ducked instinctively, her heart hammering. The dragon roared, wings unfurling, creating a gust of wind that knocked the hunters off balance. Kale lunged forward to protect her, but Lyra held up her hand. "Let it lead. Trust it." And she did. The dragon moved with incredible speed and precision, guiding them through the twists of the canyon. Lyra clung to the memories of their past, feeding her courage. Every turn, every leap, was a reminder of the bond they had forged. The shadows of the past were no longer just memories. They were their weapons, their guide through the danger that surrounded them. And as the hunters struggled to keep up, Lyra realized something crucial. Their connection was stronger than any threat the galaxy could send. For now, at least, the dragon and the girl she had raised were together again. But Lyra knew the danger was far from over. The galaxy was watching, and the story of their reunion was only beginning. The canyon echoed with the fading rumble of the hunters' weapons. Lyra's heart pounded, and her legs ached from running, but she dared not stop. Ahead, the dragon moved with grace and power, each step sending tremors through the rocky ground. It was larger than she remembered, more magnificent. Yet there was still a flicker of the young creature she had once raised. Kale stumbled beside her. "We can't keep this pace much longer," he panted. Lyra didn't answer. Her eyes were locked on the dragon. Every muscle in her body tensed as she took careful steps, following its lead. She could feel the dragon's awareness, its intelligence guiding them through the treacherous canyon twists, dodging loose boulders and narrow chasms. At last, the canyon opened to a wide plateau. The dragon stopped abruptly, lifting its massive head. Lyra froze, seeing the full extent of the creature she had once known as fragile and small. Its scales shimmered like molten gemstones, wings stretching wider than the cliffs around them, eyes glowing with sharp intelligence and caution. For a heartbeat, neither spoke, neither moved. Time seemed to slow. The dragon lowered itself slightly, nostrils flaring, studying her. Lyra swallowed hard, stepping forward. "It's me, Lyra," she whispered, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and hope. The dragon's eyes narrowed, scanning her from head to toe. It sniffed the air, a low growl vibrating in its chest. Lyra held her breath. This was the moment of truth. Then, slowly, it stepped closer. Its massive claws pressed into the earth, sending small tremors through the ground. The wind carried the faint scent of the dragon's years of freedom, the years spent without her care. And yet, beneath that strength, she sensed recognition, a connection that had never truly broken. Kale's voice was barely a whisper behind her. It knows you. It remembers." Lyra's lips curved into a faint smile. "I never doubted it for a second." Suddenly, a sharp movement in the sky caught her attention. Another ship, sleek and black, darted between the cliffs. The hunters hadn't given up. They were closing in faster than she had anticipated. Lyra's stomach tightened. She knew their reunion could be interrupted at any moment. The dragon growled louder, wings flaring, creating a wind that knocked loose rocks from the cliffs. Lyra instinctively held up her hands to shield her face. The sound of power, raw and commanding, echoed across the plateau. The hunters hesitated, their approach slowed by the dragon's sheer presence. Lyra took a cautious step forward. "I'm here now. We're together again. No one can take you from me." The dragon's eyes softened slightly, as if understanding her words. Slowly, it lowered its head, a silent gesture of trust. Lyra reached out her hand, trembling, and touched the dragon's snout. It was warm, solid, and alive. The creature of her childhood, grown into something magnificent. A sudden movement snapped her attention. Shadows danced along the cliffs, hunters attempting to flank them. Lyra's pulse raced. The dragon sensed the danger immediately, lifting off the ground in a sudden, powerful leap. Its wings beat with a strength that churned the air, sending the hunters scrambling for cover. Kale grabbed Lyra's hand. "Hold on." The dragon landed in the middle of the plateau, spreading its wings like a shield. Lyra could feel the raw energy emanating from it, a power that could level armies. Yet, beneath the threat, there was the bond, the trust she had nurtured years ago, guiding it, calming it. The hunters fired, but the dragon was faster, dodging and turning with uncanny agility. It let out a deafening roar, shaking the plateau, sending rocks tumbling down the canyon. Lyra felt her chest tighten, not with fear, but awe. This was the dragon she had raised, the dragon she had loved, the dragon the galaxy had feared. For a moment, the world seemed to pause. Lyra and the dragon stood together, side by side, facing the approaching danger. She realized then that their reunion was not just about memories or nostalgia. It was about survival, courage, and the bond between a human and a creature the galaxy had misunderstood. Lyra whispered softly, almost to herself, "We're stronger together, always." The dragon's eyes locked onto hers, an almost human understanding in their depths. Then, without warning, it surged forward, powerful wings lifting it into the sky. Lyra held on tightly, feeling the wind whip past her face, the roar of the dragon beneath her. Together, they took to the air, leaving the hunters scrambling below, powerless against the creature she had raised. Above the canyon, Lyra looked down at the hunters. They were brave, but they were no match for the bond she shared with the dragon. And as they soared higher into the unknown reaches of the galaxy, she felt a sense of clarity. Their reunion was only the beginning. The galaxy had no idea what was coming next. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and Lyra knew one thing. The dragon she had raised as a child was not just a creature of power. It was her ally, her protector, and the key to challenges the galaxy had yet to face. The plateau below faded into distance, but the sense of danger remained. New threats would come. Unknown enemies lurked in the dark corners of space. But for this moment, Lyra and the dragon were together. And together they could face anything. The galaxy watched silently, holding its breath, as the dragon and the girl who raised it vanished into the stars. High above the canyon, Lyra clung to the dragon's massive scales as it soared through the thin atmosphere, wings cutting the air like blades. The hunters below were nothing but tiny specks now, powerless against the creature she had raised. But the relief that should have followed was short-lived. Lyra knew the galaxy's dangers were far from over. The dragon's wings slowed as they approached the edge of a hidden valley, surrounded by jagged cliffs and glowing mineral formations. Lyra's eyes widened. She had never seen this place before. It was untouched, ancient, and alive with energy that hummed beneath the surface like a heartbeat. She realized, with a mix of awe and fear, that this was a secret the galaxy had never known. The dragon landed gracefully, and Lyra slid off its back, her boots touching the glowing ground. She felt a strange resonance, a connection between the energy of this place and the dragon itself. "What is this place?" she whispered, eyes scanning the alien landscape. The dragon lowered its head, nudging her gently, as if guiding her to something important. Lyra followed, noticing symbols etched into the cliffs, ancient markings that pulsed faintly with light. She ran her fingers over them, feeling warmth and knowledge flow into her mind. These were not just decorations. They were warnings, instructions, secrets hidden from the galaxy for centuries. Kale stepped forward, awe in his voice. "Lyra, what is this? Some kind of ancient power?" Lyra nodded, though she didn't fully understand. "I think it's connected to the dragons." To her. She looked at the dragon, whose scales seemed to shimmer in response to the energy around them. She's not just a creature of instinct. She's something more. Something tied to this galaxy in ways we don't understand yet. A sudden flash of light caught Lyra's attention. From the cliffs above, shadows moved, figures in cloaked armor. Not hunters this time. These were different, more organized, calculating. Their presence sent a chill down her spine. Someone else had discovered the valley, and they did not come to admire. The dragon growled, low and threatening. Lyra felt the vibrations through the ground. "We have to move," she said urgently. "Whatever they're planning, it's not good." As they delved deeper into the valley, Lyra noticed hidden caves glowing with the same strange energy. Within one, she found crystals that pulsed with light like captured stars. She instinctively reached out. The dragon nudged her hand, urging caution. The crystals seemed to respond to her touch, vibrating with a soft hum. It was as if the galaxy itself was speaking to her through the dragon. Lyra's mind raced. Could the dragon be a key? Not just a creature of strength, but a guardian of some ancient power? If so, the hunters, the cloaked figures, they were seeking more than just a weapon. They were seeking the galaxy's secrets, and Lyra had just walked into the center of it all. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath her feet. A hidden mechanism, triggered by her presence, opened a pathway deeper into the valley. Strange symbols lit up, illuminating a massive chamber ahead. Inside, Lyra saw murals depicting dragons soaring among stars, protecting entire civilizations. Her heart pounded. The dragon she had raised was part of a legacy she had never known existed. Kale whispered, awestruck, This is incredible. It's like they were watching the galaxy for centuries. Lyra nodded, eyes locked on the dragon. She was made for this. Not just for me, for the galaxy. A sudden, eerie silence fell over the valley. Then, a voice, distorted and mechanical, echoed through the chamber. Intruders detected. Unauthorized presence must be eliminated. Lyra's heart skipped a beat. The cloaked figures weren't alone. Something in the valley was alive or awake. She glanced at the dragon, whose eyes glowed brighter than ever. The bond between them surged with understanding. They were no longer just allies. They were a force capable of facing the galaxy's hidden dangers. The dragon reared, wings spreading wide, a deep roar shaking the chamber. Lyra felt a surge of courage. Whatever the secret was, whatever dangers lay ahead, they would face it together. The galaxy had secrets, but now, Lyra and her dragon were part of them, and nothing could stop their journey. As shadows began to creep closer, Lyra whispered, "We're ready. Show them what happens when they threaten us." The dragon's roar echoed, a promise and a warning. The secrets of the galaxy were no longer hidden, and the girl who had once raised a dragon was no longer just a caretaker. She was a guardian, a leader, and a force the galaxy would never forget. The galaxy seemed to hold its breath as Lyra and the dragon rose above the hidden valley. Stars streaked past as the dragon's powerful wings propelled them into the blackness of space. Kale clung tightly to Lyra's side, heart pounding with both fear and awe. Below, the cloaked figures from the valley were scrambling, preparing ships, weapons, and traps. Lyra's hands gripped the dragon's scales. They're not just after her. They want to control her, or destroy her, she said, voice steady despite the tension. The dragon let out a thunderous roar, wings slicing through space like living blades. Lyra felt the energy of the galaxy pulsing beneath her, connected to the dragon, resonating with its power. She realized that they were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting to protect secrets the galaxy had tried to bury for centuries. Suddenly, dark ships emerged from hyperspace, sleek and deadly. They swarmed around the valley, weapons glowing with deadly light. Lyra's chest tightened. "Kale, hold on. This is going to be rough." The dragon dived, weaving through the attacking ships with impossible speed. Its roar echoed across space, creating shockwaves that sent smaller vessels tumbling. Lasers cut through the darkness, missing by mere inches as the dragon twisted and turned with fluid grace. Kale shouted, "They're too many. We can't fight them all." Lyra's eyes blazed with determination. "We don't have to fight them all. We just have to survive and protect her." The dragon unleashed a torrent of fire, plasma that ignited in the vacuum of space, a bright, terrifying light. Ships exploded in a cascade of sparks, but more were coming. Lyra realized that raw power alone would not win this battle. She needed strategy, patience, and perfect timing. She whispered to the dragon, "Lead them to the asteroid field. Use their numbers against them." With a powerful beat of its wings, the dragon swooped toward the dense field of asteroids surrounding the hidden planet. Enemy ships followed, their movements slower and more predictable. The dragon twisted and turned, weaving through the rocks, causing collisions that destroyed or disabled the pursuers. Lyra clung on, heart hammering as debris flew past. Then came the unexpected. A massive ship, larger and faster than the others, emerged from hyperspace. Its weapons were powerful, designed to destroy even the strongest dragon. Lyra's stomach dropped. This was no ordinary hunter. This was someone who had planned this attack for a long time. The dragon hissed, recognizing the threat immediately. Lyra whispered, "We can do this. Together." The battle escalated. The dragon's fire clashed with energy beams, wings slashing through the void. Kale fired defensive weapons from their small pod, giving Lyra and the dragon an edge. But the giant ship adapted, changing tactics, predicting their moves. Lyra realized then that the fight was not just physical. It was a test of wits, courage, and their bond. The dragon, sensing her fear and determination, moved with precision. It anticipated her thoughts, acting as one with her will. With a daring move, the dragon drew the giant ship toward a field of unstable asteroids. Lyra's plan worked. The ship collided with a massive rock, shattering its hull in a spectacular explosion. Sparks and fire illuminated the black space, and the smaller ships, witnessing the destruction, faltered. Kale breathed heavily. We did it." Lyra shook her head, scanning the stars. "Not yet. There's always another threat. But for now, we survive." The dragon landed on a nearby asteroid, wings folding with grace. Lyra slid off, knees weak from the adrenaline. She looked at the creature she had raised, the one that had protected her, trusted her, and fought for her. It was no longer just a dragon. It was a guardian, a symbol of hope, and a living legend. Lyra whispered, almost to herself, "We faced the galaxy, and we won. Together." The stars around them seemed to shimmer in approval. The battle was over, but the war for the secrets of the galaxy was just beginning. And Lyra knew that whatever came next, the dragon and she would face it, side by side. As they prepared to soar into the uncharted reaches of the cosmos, Lyra felt a surge of pride. The galaxy had witnessed their power, their courage, and their unbreakable bond. And somewhere, deep in the void, other eyes were watching, wondering who had dared to challenge the forces of the stars and lived. The battlefield was quiet now. Sparks from destroyed ships drifted like fireflies through the void of space. Lyra and the dragon hovered above the hidden asteroid, wings folded, breathing in the calm after the storm. Kale slumped beside her, exhausted but alive. Lyra looked at the dragon, its scales glinting in the light of distant stars. This was the creature she had raised as a child, once small, fragile, and dependent on her care. Now it was majestic, powerful, and unstoppable. Yet beneath all that strength, it remembered her, trusted her. It was hers and she was its. The galaxy had seen their power. The hunters, the cloaked figures, the massive warships. They had all witnessed what it meant to underestimate the bond between a human and the dragon she raised. Lyra felt a surge of pride, but she also knew this victory was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers, and the dragon was no ordinary creature. Kale broke the silence. "Do you think they'll come back?" Lyra shook her head slowly, eyes fixed on the stars. "They might, but now the galaxy knows. They know she's not just a weapon to be used or a threat to be destroyed. She's something greater, and so am I." The dragon nudged her gently, its massive head lowering as if to affirm her words. Lyra smiled, feeling the warmth of the bond that had survived years of separation, danger, and uncertainty. She remembered the first day she had found it, a tiny hatchling trembling in a crater, and now it was her protector, her partner, and a legend in the making. From the hidden asteroid, Lyra looked out at the galaxy. Stars stretched endlessly in all directions, countless worlds and civilizations unaware of the events that had just unfolded. She realized that their story was not just about survival. It was about hope, courage, and the power of trust. Suddenly, a faint signal appeared on her communicator. Unknown coordinates, deep within uncharted space. Lyra's eyes narrowed, a thrill running through her veins. The galaxy still held secrets, and it seemed some of them were calling to her. She turned to the dragon. "Are you ready?" The dragon tilted its head, eyes glowing with understanding. Lyra climbed onto its back, Kale following. Together, they soared into the stars, leaving the battlefield behind. The galaxy watched silently, as if in awe of the girl who had defied warnings, reunited with the dragon she raised, and changed the course of the cosmos. Lyra whispered softly, "We're just getting started." The stars stretched before them, endless and full of possibilities. The dragon roared, a sound of triumph, power, and freedom. Lyra felt it echo through her soul. The galaxy had witnessed their courage, and the legend of the girl and the dragon was only beginning. Somewhere, in the vast reaches of space, others watched, awed and fearful. They had heard of the bond between human and dragon, the rise of a force capable of shaping worlds. And they knew that the galaxy would never be the same again. Lyra leaned forward, holding tight as the dragon surged forward through the starlit void. Adventures awaited. Challenges awaited. But for the first time, she felt unstoppable. And as the galaxy unfolded before them, one truth became clear. When a human and a dragon are united by trust, courage, and love, even the universe itself must pause in awe. And in that moment, Lyra and her dragon became legends. Not just of a planet, a moon, or a sector, but of the entire galaxy.